I'm Justin Davis, and this is Drone Camps RC. Guys, welcome to today's video. I am pretty excited because I get to give you 6 months, almost 6 months worth of feedback on all of the HD DJI Whoops that we've got on the channel and some of the most popular ones out there that people are really enjoying. I'm going to give you some feedback from other people as well as myself, my experiences. And, you know, with all the stuff going on with the tariffs right now, you're probably not wanting to buy because a lot of the retailers have inflated prices. Everybody has different prices on all the different websites. No one seems to have any kind of standard going. So some people are still buying from overseas, which is totally understandable. And the wait times with shipping and everything else has been extended. So it's super important that you get the right information about what you want to order, and that's why I'm doing today's video. If you were only going to buy just one DJI Whoop for this year to get you through for your drone hangar, I kind of get that. Everybody's on a budget right now, so let me walk you through some of the most popular ones out there, and let me give you some honest feedback and advice from what I've experienced. And you can, take that away with a grain of salt. That'll be your whatever. By the end of this video, hopefully you have a better idea of which one you prefer. And I'll let you make that decision based on what you see in this video. Now, one thing that I wanted to get right out there and talk about is the fact that this year, during my testing with these different DJI systems, is the fact that when DJI Lite came out, it totally changed the game. Everybody was super excited about that because all of a sudden we have DJI on a 1S Whoop, and that really excited me. DJI Air Unit Light, I was so excited about that because that was bringing the most beautiful FPV system in the world to our tiny, tiny, tiny little drones. That made me really happy. And so that was a disappointment the more I use that system. Some people have said that it's not very durable. If you just look at the camera wrong, it will break. And if you bump it, it will break. They're not meant to crash. None of these are meant to crash, honestly. If there's electronics and you bang it into the wall, it's likely that you may break something, right? So I think I'm going to be blunt with you. My advice for getting the DJI Air Unit Light in 2025, you're taking a chance on buying that system. But if you are going to buy that system, the Whoops that I'm going to show you here today are going to be 2S. They're not going to be the 1S variety of the DJI Lite system. And why would that be? That's because, well, it cuts off and drops to the ground. It makes me crash whenever I get to a low voltage on the 1S battery. So the 1S battery, it doesn't handle the 1S low voltage very well at all. So the DJI Air Light system will essentially go blank on you, and you'll crash your Whoop to the ground every single time you get to a low voltage on the 1S side of things. So I don't recommend flying DJI Air Light on 1S, okay? What I would do if I were you is I would pick one of the 2S Whoops out there and go with that. Because when you're flying the Air Unit Light on 2S, it never gets down to that 3.5 to 3.4 volt. Because when it does on the 1S Whoop, that's when everything goes to hell in a handbasket and you're crashing to the ground. So that was my worst experience this year with the Air Unit Light system. And honestly, from all of my testing, and I have 3 of them here, I didn't have a problem with durability. Cross my fingers and knock on wood. I haven't had one of those cameras break, and I have taken them. I've had to poach my Air Unit Light system to several different platforms because a lot of these manufacturers are only sending reviewers the ones where you have to bring your own VTX. You have to add it to it. So I had to build up my Nimble 6.5 with my own Air Light unit that I paid for, as well as some of my pros. I also bought a pro system so that I could still review Whoops this year for you with that platform. Now, which one do I prefer, the Lite or the Pro? For me, I enjoy the Pro, but when I want to fly something and have fun and do flips and rolls in the backyard and play around with some light freestyle, I like the Air Unit system on some of the smaller ones. Okay, if you're gonna do Pro real estate or something like that, grab the Pro. The Pro version will do you great for professional filming. But I think we should walk you through the popular ones here on the bench, and at the end of this video, I'll tell you what's my favorite Pro Whoop, DJI HD Whoop, and I'll tell you which one is my favorite light system. So let's get started with the first one. Now, this is the iFlight Defender 20 Lite, and I think this one may be probably my favorite design out there for all of the Whoops. This is a 2S Whoop. It does have a 2S proprietary 600 milliamp battery, and it does get you a decent flight time. It is $255.99 for the ELRS version. It doesn't look like they have a TBS Crossfire version on there, but you can also fly it, if not ELRS, you can also fly it with your DJI 3 transmitter if you do have one. Now, again, this is a 2S Whoop. I didn't have a lot of problem with anything on this Whoop kind of freezing up around the house or outside. It still does have great HD video on here, even though it's the light version. And it does have a pretty nice onboard storage. I believe it was 20 gigabytes. They also have a front suspended camera on here that I can show you, and some of this flight footage does quite well. It's different than the BetaFPV version, which has this super tiny little grommets that we saw. These are kind of more like micro style grom in the front, but it does handle pretty good freestyle on there. It has what I call my micro brushless sweet spot on here. So 2 and 3S on 1103 motors is a lot of fun. And these are the Defender 16 1103 14,000 kV motors that are on there. And it also has 2-inch 20 they're called 2023 blade props. And this is the Defender from the side. I can pull this battery out, and it kind of has this sort of shroud that comes over top of the carbon fiber frame. And again, like design wise, I think this one has probably the nicest design out of any of them. The prop guards come off pretty quickly with these 2 bolts on the very top. And again, like the HD antenna sticks out the back on the horizontal, like a lot of them do. It comes with landing feet, and again, these 2-inch props here, and sort of a hexagonal type shape prop guard on it. It has a decent flight time on here. The tune is good. The flight time is 6 to 6.5 minutes, real world test, and it does fly in a little bit of wind. I didn't see a ton of jello in there, and I think overall, this is the way to go as far as something that's kind of going to be sort of a plug and play type of thing for new guys. And one of the things that iFlight does pretty well is accessorize. So a lot of the accessories that you can get for it are already in stock. They're already made. They do have a 3-up charger for it, which does have a USB-C connector here. So you could plug it into a power bank out in the field, or you can plug it into an AC wall adapter and charge it on the bench. They also have an adapter for standalone chargers, which is pretty cool for this weird wonky proprietary plug-in type of thing. It reminds me of kind of like the Amazon style drones with this type of connector. Again, I'm not a huge fan of the proprietary batteries, and that may be one of the cons of the Defender 20 in my instance. So they also make some brand new, and I don't know if anybody has seen these yet. This is another accessory that they just sent to me recently. Is an 04 Lite Indy filter set. I haven't seen any Indy filters come out from any other company right now, so I'll try to put a link down below and share these with you. These are coming in 4, and they do have Indy 8, Indy 14, Indy 32, and a UV filter. And look how small they are. Look at that. They are pretty tiny. Oh yeah, and it also comes with a little lens cloth there, but those are, yeah, 4-pack. So you get 3 different ND filters and 1 UV filter. And a lot of times I like to put some type of filter over top of my camera just to give it a little bit of extra protection. And here's an example of the Pro version filter, which is quite a bit larger than the Lite version. Now, next up in the Showdown is the BetaFPV Femto. It's the Pavo Femto. It is also a brushless 2S DJI system with the light on board. It does have kind of special dampening in the front, and I'll show you some video of that system. It works pretty well for flying around the house. It's absolutely just fine indoors. Even though it's on 2S, you can still control this no problem. It is really one of the smaller ones out there that I think still gets good video, but you can still take outside and have a ton of fun. It's almost like flying a little 5-inch. And this one has, right now it has like 32 reviews at like 4.5 stars. So from the FPV community, we're getting really good feedback on the Femto. A lot of people like this one. It is also 79 grams with a 2S 500 450 pack on the bottom. So XT30 in the back, 2-inch props, and it flies really well. So much so, a friend of mine actually bought 2 of these because he was worried that he might have one go down and then not have an extra one to fly. So it is kind of a unique design. It's very similar to kind of a shrunk down version of the larger Pavo. This is the Pro version, quite a bit bigger there from the Pro to the Lite version, as you can see. But if you're looking for something more portable and kind of backyard friendly, like this one, hands down, is just, it's a blast to fly. I can't really explain it. Now you can see this little Femto up close, and it really is an odd duck. It is the weirdest looking one of the bunch, but I have to say it's probably the most fun out of any of these that I flew, mainly because it has this compact size. It's really easy to work on. It also has 1102 brushless motors, which I absolutely love. Those are the Lava Series motors. And it's also running some 1611 3-blade props. So a 40mm prop on here, tri-blade, gives it plenty of lift. The inverted motors make it fly super smooth around the house. I'd even maybe considered people to use this for a professional real estate drone. If you really wanted to get in there and get a quick, unique shot that a larger drone can't get. But I leave that up to you, and it really depends on what your client's needs are. So as far as the flight time on this one too, this one is getting around 5 minutes flight time on a 2S 450 battery. It does have this sort of cage mount on the bottom. I'm not a huge fan of this, and if I was going to keep this drone forever, I'd probably snip this off so that I could put larger batteries on here, because you are kind of restricted to having a 2S 450 on here. And if this battery starts to swell a little bit, gets a little older, it will no longer fit that cage. But yeah, that's going to be up to you whether you keep that battery as it starts to swell. It also has the XT30s in the back. It has the dipole coming out the back here. And again, I love that it has a carbon frame. So yeah, it's like the little shrunk down version of the Pro. It almost looks like a little bit of a cockroach type of design, but it is very lightweight, even, again, with the battery coming in around 79 grams, and just the most fun little DJI Whoop that I've flown this year. And it's a huge community favorite. I've had so much feedback coming back from the guys about the Femto, more than any other DJI Whoop out there this year. So this is probably the community favorite for everyone, and one of my favorites. And again, this little guy comes in at $224.99. And if you want to buy it without the HD VTX, if you already have a Lite VTX and a camera, you can get it for $105. Next up on our list is the Pavo 20 Pro. This is from BetaFPV, and this one will get you anywhere from 6 to 8 minutes flight time. You can fly this one on 2S as well, XT30 in the back, and it has a brand new redesigned camera system cage for the 04, because the 04 Pro camera is larger than the original 03 right here. You can see there's not quite as much protection. It is a lighter design, but this one is brand new for the 04 camera system on board. You can get this one without the Pro system on there from BetaFPV. It's called the 04 Pro PNP. They also still have some 03 PNPs, but that setup right there costs you $105 for the frame kit only with the motors and the electronics. You can optionally add the Cobb LEDs on there, which do look super cool. I did that one, and this one's called the Nightfire limited edition Nightfire version. And again, this one has that sort of carbon fiber sort of injection molded plastic frame kit here with this one, and quite durable, but also super light, still at like 115 grams without the battery, close to 150 with the battery, still way under 250 grams, and you don't have to register it. Now, what sets this one apart from the others is obviously the Pro system, but this one has versatility to be able to fly a 2S battery, something like a 2S 720 milliamp. That'll get you a decent flight time, 4.5 minutes. If you want to bump it up to 6 to 7 minutes, you can fly a 3S 550 or even a 650 or 720 on here. So you have the option for lower power, smoother flights, or you can fly 3S, and you can absolutely do some kind of mild freestyle and faster, more aggressive flying. So you have the option of 2 and 3S battery with the Pavo 20 Pro. And there are the Cobb LEDs all lit up. And I have to say, it looks super cool when it's lit up like this, flying around the yard. Most of us really love the way this looks. It's pretty simple to set up in the back. It does have a little plug that's already set up under here. Plug this in, and these are stick-on. They just run around the outside of the frame. Pretty easy to put on and just plug in. You don't have to solder them. And it really does give some pretty epic looking visual appeal for this Pavo 20 Pro. Now, you remember before, I've said this a bunch of times on my channel, the 1102 and 1103 is my micro brushless sweet spot. So with the 1104 series motors on here, we're kind of getting out of that sort of comfortable fun zone, if you will. But with the weight of this frame, the extra added motor size on here kind of levels that out. And when you're flying it, it gives you the extra power that you need. If you're coming back around from a hard loop or something like that, you're not going to bottom out and just kind of lose it in the grass. You'll have plenty of power with the Lava 1104s. So these are 7200 kV brushless motors, and they have the Gem Fan 2218 3-blade propellers on there. Those are also 1.5 millimeter shaft if you're looking for those. And they don't have any bolts. With the invert motor design here, they're just a push-on prop. You just pull them on and off with your fingers, and you're ready to fly again. And just a quick word of advice for people who are just kind of on the fence about this 1S DJI Lite situation. Here is my Nimble 6.5 sitting next to my analog BetaFPV Air 6.5. Kind of mod. There's a little meteor top on there, but you notice that my Nimble 6.5 doesn't have the system in there anymore, because what would I rather have flying between the Nimble 6.5 on 1S with DJI Lite? I would rather have something that's going to be more reliable. And for me, what's been more reliable is absolutely hands down is the 2S setup. So if you're considering just 1S DJI Lite, you're better off going with something analog, in my opinion. You're just going to have more fun at the end of the day with the analog 1S configuration. So try to avoid DJI Lite on 1S. So now let's get down to the brass tacks, people, and let's get into what is my favorite for 2025. I think that my absolute favorite, if I had to pick one of these and I was going to fly it for my little fun whoop with DJI system on board, I think the winner for me out of all of these, and this might throw some of you guys for a loop, we're going to give you two winners here. But my number one choice would be BetaFPV's Femto. This little quad right here has brought me more joy than any other Whoop this year, mainly because it's just so, the fun factor of flying this one is a 10 out of 10. The tune on here is good. It can take a hit, it can bounce. It has that low profile design. You can make some gaps and things with it. It'll do mild freestyle. And honestly, this is the 2S Whoop that I dreamed of having 10 years ago. And we're here. We're here. We're ready for that. The only thing that disappoints me this year was the performance of Air Light units on the 1S configuration Whoops. If you decide to do the 2S Femto, you will have a ball. And again, like a friend of mine bought 2 of these just so he would have a backup because they're that much fun. And people are flying these around town and kind of having little get-togethers and just really enjoying some kind of chasing each other with these. These were built the right way. The parts are cheap. The flight time is good. The batteries are cheap. And if you have to take it apart and work on it, it's easy enough for the new guys to work on as well. It only takes a little tiny driver for 2mm bolts and a little tiny Phillips head screwdriver to pretty much take this whole thing apart. And I love the little carbon frame that they integrated into it. They could have done injection molded frame, but I think it's kind of a neat detail that they did the miniature carbon frame in here with the struts on the side, just to give it a little extra durability if you do crash. So I haven't had the first problem with mine yet. So, and I have transferred this system on and off here several times. This was the same system that I used on the Nimble 6.5 sitting back there, but I'm out of the 1S game for now. I may test more of them later, but it really pains me. Like the Meteor 75, that would have made it in this showdown had I not had such a terrible experience with 1S on the low voltage cutoff of the DJI Lite system. That's just the most annoying thing in the world. So that's why I'm recommending go for 2S. If you had to have just one, go for a 2S one. Now, as far as my Pro choice, and I've flown quite a few. I flew the sub 250 Huma. I have that one sitting over here. That one did not make my top list. It is sitting in pieces right now because I had to steal the Pro unit off of the BetaFPV Pavo 20 Pro for that review. But I have to be honest with you. I feel like this is one of the best platforms for the Pro on 2 and 3S because the parts are simple. Again, they're simple to work on, they're cheap, and it's a solid designed 2 and 3S Pro unit Whoop. All the way around. Again, like BetaFPV wins on a lot of these things because of the cost, the low price point, and then also because of being able to use your own battery. One of the only reasons that I didn't pick the iFlight one is because of the proprietary battery on there. I'm not a fan of this proprietary battery thing. And that's just hobby guys. They know that we don't like that, but I think they're just trying to make it easier for new guys getting into the hobby. And that's really what a lot of us would like to do. We'd like to grow the hobby, but at the same time, we want options to be able to use our own batteries. Sticking to one type of battery is a very DJI type of thing to do. So in our hobby, we always say we're a DIY hobby and we like to have options. So absolutely hands down my favorite so far this year for the Lite version and for the Pro version. And it seems that, this is not biased by any means. I'm not being a BetaFPV fanboy. I'm just telling you my experiences with all of these different systems this year. And these 2 are my favorite. And, if you want to get yourself a Pro version with the 03 on there, they still make this frame, still sell this one as well. And again, a little bit lighter and smaller than this design. So yeah, some big fun and small fun. Either way you want to go, hopefully all of this advice in this video helped you out today. If you want to use our links down below, it helps out our family FPV business. So we are a family, a small, tight group of niche hobbyists here. So I appreciate you for watching again. And I'll catch you on the next one. I hope you enjoyed everything in this video. And I enjoyed sharing that with you after almost 6 months of testing. Take care, guys. I'll see you on the next one.